The shadows of the foundry's outer wall stretch across broken cobbles as dawn creeps toward the city's waking smoke. Inside a cramped, dust-choked storeroom, Evelyn and Milo hunker over a battered crate, the table between them cluttered with stained folders and torn manifests. Milo keeps one ear tuned to the distant clatter of railcars, but Evelyn's world shrinks to the scrawled ministry shorthand and the coded columns of the intake ledgers. Her hands flick through pages, names, numbers, cryptic symbols, her eyes darting between intake numbers and the fragments of transfer manifests she salvaged in their last desperate escape. She mutters quietly, cross-referencing abbreviations with a battered notebook, her finger tracing a sequence. LN78, RQ2113, then a block of letters. Milo, grease still smudged on his knuckles, leans in, pointing out a column she missed. See here, Ascension Candidate. That's not labour or research, not even security. That's the next layer. Evelyn's mind races. She stops, jaw tightening. Jonas Mercer, she says, voice barely above a whisper. The name emerges from the puzzle, paired with a matching intake code and the chilling designation. Ascension Candidate. The manifest confirms. Jonas is alive, but scheduled for transfer within 48 hours. His fate hanging on a bureaucratic deadline. Milo curses under his breath. Time is nearly up. The ledger's harsh language and the cold, industrial terms for citizens settles in the air between them. Evelyn's pulse pounds. The system isn't just relocating people, it's cataloguing them, inventorying human lives. Outside, a train whistle signals the shift change. Milo pulls out a battered radio and a slip of coded paper. It's time to move. The discovery is their only lead. They must act now, or lose Jonas for good. They slip into the labyrinth of back alleys, the city's hush broken only by the scrape of a metal grate and Milo's purposeful footsteps. Evelyn waits in the shadowed mouth of a side street, scanning for watchers. Milo vanishes into a gap between battered brick walls, emerging in a crumbling alcove beside a discarded tramrail. There, he produces a battered radio, tuning to a static-laced frequency, and fumbles through his pocket for a folded slip, coded with a pattern only a trusted railway clerk would recognise. He clicks out a sequence, listening for the response, then slides the note into a rusted pipe. One of several dead drops scattered through the city's underbelly. Minutes drag by, with only the distant hum of industry and the echo of patrol boots. At last, a faint radio burst. The clerk's voice, cautious, rough, relays a whispered confirmation. Jonas's transfer is scheduled at a Directorate-controlled classification centre, not the ministry site they'd expected. The route, sealed, guarded, tightly scheduled, matches the code on Jonas's intake manifest. Milo's hand trembles for an instant. Two of his contacts haven't checked in since the last sweep. The city is tightening. Evelyn, tense, stows the new information. The risks are mounting, but the window is clear. A classified transit centre, a near impossible target, and a clock ticking toward Jonas's disappearance. They exchange a glance. Time to plan the unthinkable. Beneath the looming bulk of the Directorate's classification centre, the pair huddle in a low-lit maintenance tunnel, redolent of damp stone and machine oil. Milo produces 2 stained workers' jackets, battered tool belts, and a set of forged badges, each with the Directorate's new sigil and a biometric patch of questionable reliability. Evelyn runs her thumb over a strip of adhesive, fitting the badge to her collar as Milo's hands move to a hidden hatch set into the tunnel floor. The scanner above the hatch flickers, its blue light stuttering. Milo mutters about updated protocols. The Directorate has changed badge designs and installed biometric checks, likely in response to the last breach. Their plan shifts. Milo will try the old maintenance tunnel, bypassing the main checkpoint. It's riskier. If caught, there's no plausible excuse. Evelyn tightens her satchel, hiding her battered camera and copied manifests. They review the plan. Once inside, Milo will move toward the holding rooms, searching for Jonas. Evelyn will head for the archives, seeking the asset registry. Their communication will be limited. One code phrase, no more. Milo forces the scanner, which accepts the passcode with a strained beep. The hatch slides open, revealing a shaft of stale, filtered air. They slip inside as the shift change echoes above, the world of officialdom replaced by the close mechanical dark. The centre's admin floor is a vision of industrial order. Rows of benches, gleaming tiles, fluorescent lights. Evelyn, badge clipped and posture rigid, moves through the labyrinth of desks and data terminals. She passes a line of silent citizens, each marked with a coloured wristband, red, blue, yellow, awaiting their turn at a series of medical stations. Guards in crimson-trimmed uniforms enforce order with curt gestures, their eyes scanning for deviation. A floor supervisor intercepts her, lips pinched, eyes suspicious. "Clearance," he demands, voice low and cold. Evelyn's mind races. She recalls a technical phrase from the stolen documents. Terminal 4A's diagnostics flagged an intake sync error. "I'm here to cross-verify asset codes before the next batch is assigned," she recites. The supervisor narrows his gaze, then relents, offering a brief window. Under his watchful eye, Evelyn approaches a data terminal, her fingers flying over keys. She photographs a page of manifest entries, capturing rows of names, codes, and asset designations. Nearby, a clerk sorts folders into bins. Labour asset, technical asset, Ascension Candidate. The entire operation moves with mechanical precision, citizens processed, measured, and classified for their usefulness. The supervisor's presence remains. Time is short. Evelyn glances over her shoulder, then edges toward the restricted archive, the weight of suspicion following each step. Milo, toolbox in hand, edges past a pair of ministry guards at a checkpoint, nodding with the weary indifference of a maintenance worker. The holding area hums with fluorescent light and the low murmur of restrained conversation. Beyond a glass partition, Jonas sits among a cluster of detainees, each with a blue wristband. Security is tight. Biometric locks flash red at every door, and guards rotate their patrols with metronomic precision, 6 minutes per circuit. Milo waits for the scheduled shift change, glancing at his watch, then approaches a service panel near Jonas's enclosure. He fakes a tool adjustment, slips a folded scrap, a coded warning, onto a cart Jonas will see. Jonas, eyes sharp despite fatigue, catches the message, reading the code and understanding at once. Rescue is coming. He rises, feigning a coughing fit that draws a guard's attention. In the confusion, Jonas edges close to the panel, mouthing a sequence, hinting at a nearby flaw in the security cycle. Milo notes it, heart pounding. The distraction buys him seconds, but a guard now hovers, demanding credentials. Milo bluffs, mumbling about a coolant leak. The guard isn't convinced, but moves off as the next shift arrives, leaving a narrow window open. Jonas's initiative and knowledge of guard routines begin to turn the odds. Evelyn slips into a cramped archive alcove lined with battered ledgers and humming terminals. She sits, heart in her throat, and inserts her badge into the console. The screen flickers. Access denied, then a prompt for override. Evelyn enters a code from the stolen folder. The screen unlocks, displaying the asset registry. Thousands of names, each paired with a classification: labour asset, technical asset, research asset, Ascension candidate. Redacted lines are everywhere. She connects a compact copier from her satchel, hands shaking. As the download bar creeps forward, a warning flashes. Security trace initiated. Evelyn's badge ID is flagged. She swallows fear, letting the process finish. The registry's entries are chilling. Names erased, statuses marked transferred, reassigned, deceased. Entire neighbourhoods, whole families vanish into asset codes. The scale is staggering. This is no isolated experiment. The copier clicks as the download completes. Evelyn yanks her badge, stows the device, and erases her digital footprint as best she can. Alarms remain silent, but she knows they're coming. She snatches the copied records, breath racing, and bolts for the rendezvous. Every shadow in the corridor, now a potential hunter. Alarms begin to pulse through the corridors, a low, relentless klaxon. Evelyn sprints through a maze of admin cubicles, clutching her satchel. Milo, having slipped Jonas a passkey and the warning, signals across a maintenance stairwell. The facility begins to lock down. Steel doors slam with pneumatic force, red strobes flash, and biometric scanners activate, sealing off exits. Jonas's calm is unshaken. He recalls a half-forgotten access panel near the rear wall, a detail memorized during his captivity. The trio converges at a service corridor, ducking as a patrol of agents passes. Jonas leads, guiding them to an unmarked hatch behind a stack of cleaning supplies. He inputs the passkey, Milo's quick hands patching the biometric override. The hatch opens to a narrow stairwell, descending deeper. As they descend, the blare of alarms intensifies. Patrols swarm above. Security drones activate, scanning for movement. The group slips into a darkened maintenance corridor, the route Jonas mapped in his mind. It is a partial victory. Pursuit is close, but the path to the surface is now blocked by an activated lockdown. They pause, breathless, as Evelyn clutches the asset registry close. Jonas points further down. Only a hazardous, little-used drainage tunnel remains. The maintenance corridor narrows, pipes drip, and stale air thickens. The trio races forward, but the way is blocked by a new threat. A Directorate retrieval team led by two Olgizen operatives, Project Ascension's augmented citizens. They move with chilling precision, armoured limbs silent on tile, eyes glowing faintly blue. With a gesture, the operative disables the corridor's security grid, doors locking in sequence behind them. Evelyn freezes, heart hammering. One of the operatives steps forward, voice metallic. Surrender. Compliance ensures survival. Jonas backs away, Milo's hand already in his satchel. He produces a palm-sized jammer, a patchwork of wires and scavenged parts. He hurls it at the operative's feet. The device sparks, distorting the air with a faint screech. For a moment, the Olgizen sensors falter, its movements jerky. "Move!" Milo shouts. Evelyn and Jonas force a side panel open, squeezing into a service duct. Behind them, the operative recovers, firing a non-lethal round. A projectile grazes Milo's arm, blood blooming through his sleeve. Grunting, Milo scrambles after the others. The retrieval team surges forward, but the group vanishes into the tunnel's maw, the operative's footsteps echoing with eerie speed. Their escape is desperate, the line between prey and survivor razor thin. The tunnels below churn with panic. Distant alarms echo, and the heavy clang of boots reverberates down dripping stone. Evelyn, Milo clutching his bleeding arm, and Jonas press through ankle-deep water, each twist of the tunnel threatening a dead end. Security drones, their red sensors sweeping in arcs, draw ever closer, the hum of their engines signalling a net closing tight. Jonas pauses, mind racing. He recalls an old map, a maintenance grate marked in the margin. Turning sharply, he leads them down a side passage, ducking beneath a half-collapsed arch. The air grows colder, ancient stone and the scent of old machinery. They reach the grate, rusted, chained, but weakened by time. Milo, teeth gritted against pain, produces a screwdriver, prying at the links. Evelyn and Jonas combine their weight, pushing until the grate surrenders with a screech. As the first drone's light spills into the tunnel behind them, they tumble through, landing hard on the dry stone of the ancient undercity. The drone sensors lose their signal. The pursuit halts at the threshold. Breathing hard, the group drags themselves forward, blood, grime, and stolen records in tow. The city's forgotten depths have saved them, for now. The rescue of Jonas succeeds, but escaping the Directorate facility proves far more difficult than getting inside. Alarms spread across the district within minutes, triggering roadblocks, rail closures, and coordinated security sweeps throughout the industrial quarter. Realizing every known safe house is likely compromised, Milo abandons their original plans and leads Evelyn and Jonas into the labyrinth of foundries, maintenance tunnels, and service corridors hidden beneath the city's factories. As they move through the industrial maze, reports begin reaching Milo from what remains of his network. Couriers have disappeared. Trusted contacts have gone silent. Entire smuggling routes are being shut down. The Directorate is responding with unusual speed and precision. During a brief pause inside an abandoned machine hall, Evelyn reviews fragments of the asset registry and discovers disturbing references to citizen classifications, augmentation suitability assessments, and large-scale population tracking programs. Before she can fully understand the implications, security patrols sweep into the area, forcing the group to flee once again. It becomes increasingly clear that the Directorate is no longer trying to contain a leak. It is actively protecting a system already operating across the city. With every major route monitored, the trio is forced to cross Atheros through crowded worker districts, elevated railways, and neglected industrial infrastructure. The city itself seems tense. Workers whisper about disappearances. Factory crews exchange rumours of neighbours, taken without explanation. The fear Evelyn has spent months investigating is no longer hidden beneath the surface. At the Central Rail Exchange, the group witnesses the true purpose of the Olgizen programme. A gathering of workers protesting recent disappearances is rapidly dispersed by enhanced Directorate operatives. The response is swift, disciplined, and clearly practiced. Organisers are identified, isolated, and removed before the crowd can react. The operation looks less like a test and more like a deployment. As panic spreads through the station, one of Milo's oldest associates creates a diversion to help the group escape. The sacrifice allows Evelyn, Jonas, and Milo to reach safety, but the cost is significant. Milo realizes the Directorate is systematically dismantling the very network that has kept them alive. The conspiracy is no longer confined to hidden facilities and classified documents. Project Ascension has already left the laboratory and entered the streets. Under cover of darkness, Jonas guides Evelyn and Milo to a hidden printing operation concealed beneath the shell of a derelict newspaper warehouse. The location serves as one of the last surviving distribution centres of the Iron Record, the underground publication where Jonas once worked before Directorate censorship forced it into hiding. The printers initially refused to become involved. Years of raids, arrests, and disappearances have taught them caution. Jonas responds by presenting the evidence recovered from the asset registry, transfer orders, classification records, false death notices, lists of citizens quietly erased from public existence. As the scale of Project Ascension becomes impossible to deny, skepticism gives way to outrage. The presses are ordered back into operation. While preparations begin for the first publication, Evelyn studies deployment maps hidden among the stolen records and makes a troubling discovery. The Algizen operatives pursuing them are not a special response to the registry breach. Similar units have already been assigned throughout Atheros to factory districts, transportation hubs, and areas identified as politically unstable. Internal directives reference crowd control operations, urban stability exercises, and contingency plans for anticipated civil unrest. The realization is chilling. The Directorate is not preparing for a future crisis, it is expecting one. As the presses thunder to life and the first copies of the Iron Record begin their journey into worker districts across the city, Evelyn understands that everything has changed. The truth is finally spreading. The Algizens are already operational, and Atheros is moving steadily toward a confrontation that both sides now seem to know is coming.